So you should watch this video if you want to understand how to create data model from the scratch. You will also learn what is active relationship, inactive relationships, cardinality, why to create bridge table and how to create it, and also how to create a calendar table. Let us get started. First of all, I will try to import the data set which is required for creating this data model. So from this particular Excel sheet, I just need, I think 4 to 5 tables are required. So I'll just focus on this customer table, product table, product targets, sales and store. So let me click on transform data. You will get this particular Excel sheet in the description of the video, so you can also practice. So let me just do some cleaning before we import this data. So just click on this use first row as header option. So and then for second, third, fourth table and fifth table. Okay, I think for fifth table also you need to click on this option. So now it looks good. So we'll click on this close and apply option. And now we have got the data imported to Power BI desktop. So now we should click on this data model, but you need to understand one thing. By default, Power BI will identify the relationships automatically between the multiple tables and create a data model. We will see that because it is smart enough to identify these relationships. So I'll click on this model view and I'll just make this presentable. Just give me a minute. So as you can see, by default this is how the data model looks like, and the relationships have been identified by the Power BI automatically. But I will delete these relationships for now and will create it from the scratch. So I will delete it. Now please have a look at the tables once. So customer table has got the customer ID and other data. Product table has got product ID. Store table has obviously got store ID, and product targets has got this target ID. And then we have got this fact table which has got almost all these values. All right, so let us create a relationship very quickly. We all know store ID is present here in the store table, and the same store ID is also present in this table. So we will quickly create a relationship by dragging this here, and that creates one to many relationship because there will be only one store ID in the store table, but same store ID will be reflected multiple times in the fact table, that is sales table, because obviously there will be multiple transactions for the same store ID. So that makes one to many relationships. We want to make this relationship active, and I click on the save button. Okay, now similarly for the customer, we can have this customer ID which is common. So I'll just drag this here, and that will also create one to many relationship just like the previous one. Similarly, I will create one more relationship, that is product ID and product ID between these two tables, product and sales. Again, this will be same. All right, now we will try to create a similar relationship between the sales and the product targets. What is the common column? You can see product ID is common between these two tables. Just have a look at this table once. This is the sales table. All right, sales table has got product ID which is there, and then we also have this product targets. This has also got product ID multiple times. So try to understand this thing. Product ID is multiple times in the product target table, and product ID is multiple times in the sales table as well. That means when we try to create a relationship between sales table and this product targets table, it will be many to many relationships. So let us see if that is really the case. So I'll just drag product ID here and product ID here. Okay, so this is creating a many to many relationship, which is not ideal. This will give you ambiguous output, wrong outputs. It will make your report slower, and things will be out of control. So you should make sure that you should always have one to many relationships. Many to many relationship you must avoid. So if I click on the save button, you can see this is see, star is here, star is here. That means many to many. Okay, this becomes bi-directional. So this is not a good idea. Now what should we do? We have to handle this in a better way. So there is one way to handle that. If you see, product ID is here and product ID is also present in this table. So we have many to one between these two tables. Okay, similarly, if I delete this particular relationship, okay, and if I create the one to many relationship between the product and product targets, that will handle this problem. So product ID, and this will create one to many, because we know product table will have only one product ID. and we already know product target has multiple, so this is one to many, so this is fine for us. So I will click on save. Basically what I'm saying is, rather than having directly many to many relationship between this sales table and this product target table, we are having this product table as a bridge table. So now we have many to one between this, and then again one to many between this table. So that way we are indirectly creating a relationship between sales table and the product targets table. This is all about the bridge table, and this is how we handle the many to many relationships. This will not create problem, this will not create performance issues, nothing. So the next thing that we will do is create a date table. But why do we need a date table? We need a date table because that will help us to filter the database. I mean, the way we want. We can filter the data for a monthly basis, for yearly basis, quarterly basis, whatever the filter we need. Date table will help us for that. That is why we need the date table, and we will join this date table to this fact table, which is our sales table. Okay, so let us get started. We, for creating the date table, we'll go to this table view and click on this table tools option, click on new table, and before we create the table, you just need to see what is the start date and end date for the fact table, that is sales table. So we will see that quickly and then we'll come back here. So if you have a look at the sales table, the lowest value and the highest value is within the range of 2026 year. So basically we can take the date range of 2026 year. Okay, so again I'll go to table tools and click on this new table option. Then we will call this as date table. We'll make use of the calendar function. We will talk about the DAX later, but understand that we are going to use the calendar function here for creating a date table. So again we will use for the start date. So for the start date we will be using this date function. Within the date function, we need to specify the year. So I'll say 2026, month is 1 and day is 1. That is our start date. Now end date should be again date function, and then we need 2026. The month should be 12 and 31st. So that completes the entire year of 2026. I will select this column. We do not want date time format, so I'll just make this as date. One more thing that we have to do is we have to mark this as the date table. So you see within this table tools ribbon, we have got this option mark as date table. So I am selecting this, enable this button, choose the column, we know it's a date table, and click on save. Okay, but one more thing that we should do is we should also have the year and the month for this particular date table. So again I'll click on new column and let us create the year. Okay, so let's say year, and then we should provide the date, which is the date table date, enter. Similarly, let's say we want to create a month column also. So I should again click on new column and create the month. Okay, and then I'll again use the month function, and again I'll make use of this date table date column. Okay, that helps me tell the month for the respective row. All right, so I think we have got this date table created. Now the same date table is reflecting in this particular table as well. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's say between this date table and this particular sales table, we want to create a relationship. How can we do that? So let's say I want to filter the data on the basis of order date. So I will simply drag this order date to this particular date, and that creates many to one relationship, because we know many order dates will be there, but date table has only one date, right? For example, 1 January will appear only once in the date table, but it will appear multiple times in the sales table, obviously. So again, this is many to one, so I'll click on save. Now let's say for whatever reason I also want to create a relationship on the basis of ship date also. So what I need to do is I need to click on the ship date and drag it here on the date. Okay, so that will create one more relationship. Again, this is one many to one, and I will click on save button. So this, we can see this relationship is created, but there is a dotted line for the ship date. That means this is an inactive relationship. Okay, so the question is, can we have more than one relationship between the two tables? Because in this case, we can see there is a relationship on the basis of order date, and also there is a relationship on the basis of ship date. So we have more than one relationship. So the answer is yes, there can be more than one relationship between the two tables. The only condition is that there must be only one active relationship, not more than that. So currently we have this order date as active and this ship date as inactive. So now let's say I want to make this ship date relationship active and make this order date inactive. How do I do that? So first of all, I need to just right click on this order date relationship, go to properties, and then make this inactive, click on save. That will make this relationship active as well. Now we can make this particular ship date to date relationship active. So I'll just right click and then again I'll make this active, click on save. Now we can see that this is an active relationship. So whatever the output you will see, it will be based on the ship date. All right. Okay. I will again revert these changes because I want to handle this on the basis of order date. So I'll just revert these changes and get back to the one which we had. Okay. So I'm reverting these changes. So now let us analyze the data for the product ID and we will see what is the actual quantity of sales, and we will compare that with the target for that particular product category. How do we analyze this? We'll just go to the report view and click on this table option. We will have first of all the product ID from the products table. So let us take the product ID. So product, rather than product ID, we'll take product name so that we can easily understand. And then for the total sell which has actually happened, we will take this particular column which is quantity. So this is telling us how many quantities were sold. Okay. For instance, how many desks were sold, how many laptops were sold, how many printers were sold. Now we will compare this with the target for the particular product ID or product name. So for the target, I will go to this targets table and we will select this target units option. Okay. And this is showing me the target amount. Okay. So I'll just make this little presentable. The target for desk is 353, but how many sold? 127. Laptop target is 581, but actual sold were 79. So we're getting the data correctly. Why we are able to get it? Because we had created the relationship between the product table and the product target tables. Okay. We had handled this many to many relationships. Let's say if we delete this, okay, and there is no relationship between the product and target table, and then if we see the output is not right, it is getting the total sum. All right. That is why we need to handle this data model properly. So we'll again revert these changes and drag this product ID to here, and again it will create one to many. I'll click on save and then we can see the correct output again. All right. So this is all about creating the data model in Power BI. I hope this will be useful. Make sure that you comment down. I am really disappointed that I'm not getting proper support from you guys. I expect a little comment feedback. That's all. That will encourage me to make more videos. If you guys don't respond, what is the motivation for me to creating these videos again and again? I mean, there has to be something. I hope you understand. Thank you so much for watching.